Before dawn, the palace sleeps, but behind its red walls, thousands of maids are already awake. Their footsteps echo through the darkness, carrying water, fire, and fear. None of them are seen, none of them are remembered. What was it like to live here, to serve, obey, and survive? This is not the story of queens or empresses, but of the silent maids who served beneath them. Hey there, this is Emma Kong. Today we'll follow one of them, a girl named Xiao Hong, and see what a single day was really like for a palace maid. At 4 in the morning, Xiao Hong is woken up by a fellow maid who has been on night duty. She has to get up right away, wash her face, and fix her hair as quickly as she can. The water is icy cold. Each breath of air feels sharp as it fills her barely awake lungs. Suddenly, she feels a tickle in her nose. She wants to sneeze, but clamps her hand over her mouth and nose just in time. Not a single sound can escape, because if she wakes the sleeping concubine, the punishment will be harsh. Xiao Hong serves one of the emperor's concubines, her mistress. Her first duty every morning is to prepare everything before her mistress wakes. She begins by lighting a stick of incense. The scent of aloes wood slowly fills the room. Then she draws water from the well, starts a small fire, and heats the water until it's just right for washing. Once it's ready, she pours the steaming water into a copper basin for her mistress to wash her face. The hot water must be tested 3 times. Not too hot, not too cold. Every step has to be exact, repeated the same way as yesterday, and the day before that. Any sudden change, any small mistake would be seen as carelessness and punished severely. Does Xiao Hong really have to wake up this early? The answer is yes, sometimes even earlier. Some nights, she has to stay awake the entire time, watching over the palace lanterns, making sure the flames don't go out, and that nothing catches fire. Inside the Forbidden City, there were thousands of maids just like Xiao Hong. Most of them slept only 5 or 6 hours a day, if they were lucky. Breakfast in the imperial palace signaled the start of a new day for the empire. The emperor's meal went through 3 layers of inspection to make sure it was safe from poison or mistake. As for the empress and the imperial consorts, each had their own unique demands for the morning meal. Before sunrise, Xiao Hong and the other maids must deliver steaming food boxes to different halls across the palace grounds. They can't eat, they can't even open the boxes to take a peek. All they can do is breathe in the tempting smell that drifts through the air. Sometimes, when their mistresses are in good mood, the maids are rewarded with leftovers from the royal breakfast. For Xiao Hong and the others, that's the only time they get to test what the palace truly feels like. So what happens if Xiao Hong ever gets hungry? The answer is simple. She doesn't dare. The palace rules were crystal clear. No one was allowed to eat anything from the food boxes. Once, a maid couldn't stand the hunger anymore. She stole a single bite of her mistress' dessert. When she was caught, she was forced to kneel on the freezing stone floor for 3 days and 3 nights until she collapsed. After that, she was expelled from the palace. As the sun climbs into the sky and light spills over the world, the Forbidden City transformed into a vast and bustling machine. The emperor begins his morning meeting with his ministers. In the inner palaces, the empress and the concubines start their routines, combing their hair, putting on makeup, and dressing in layers of splendid silk. Meanwhile, Xiao Hong and the other maids move like shadows, sleeping quietly between one palace and another. They polish bronze mirrors, sweep the steps, water the flowers in porcelain pots, and add charcoal to the palace stoves. They mend clothes and keep careful records of daily expenses. All of it seems ordinary, but every task carries danger. Even the smallest thing, a floor left unswept, a robe folded the wrong way, could be seen as proof of laziness. And the punishment? It could start with being denied food or a slap across the face, but sometimes a maid might even be beaten with wooden sticks until her back bled, unable to get out of bed for months. All it took was a single reason. Her mistress decided she hadn't worked hard enough. Before noon, Xiao Hong hardly has a moment to rest. Sometimes, after standing for hours, she feels her head start to spin, but she doesn't dare sit down. In her heart, she whispers to herself, "Just a little longer, just a little longer." After lunch, the imperial consorts take their midday rest. Xiao Hong and the other maids prepare the beds, pour tea, and use fans to cool the sleeping consorts. But a single mistake, a broken teacup, a step into the wrong room could bring punishment. Once a maid stepped on a patch of flowers in the palace garden. The consort she served ordered her to be beaten to death with wooden sticks. The maid's body was carried out through the back gate of the palace and buried in the desolate hills outside the city. So, was Xiao Hong afraid? The answer is yes, terrified. But she could never let her mistress see that fear. Palace maids had to master one essential skill, a face with no expression. In the Forbidden City, crying didn't bring sympathy. It was seen as defiance, a challenge to order and authority. And for that, the punishment would be doubled. Those who learned to read every shift in their mistress's mood, to sense anger before it was spoken, were the ones who survived the longest. Their intelligence, or perhaps their sensitivity, was their only protection. As the setting sun paints the high palace walls in gold, evening descends upon the Forbidden City. The courtyards glow with light, but that light never reaches Xiao Hong's face. She must comb her mistress's hair, help her change into evening robes, and light the lanterns one by one. Sometimes, Xiao Hong stands behind her mistress for hours, without moving an inch, just to catch a single strand of hair that might fall from the concubine's head. Finally, after a long, exhausting day, can Xiao Hong finally rest? The answer is no. She still can't. Even at night, the Forbidden City is still alive with work. The palace maids take turns patrolling the halls, keeping watch over the lanterns, making sure they don't go out and that nothing catches fire. They write down what was done today and what must be done tomorrow. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, a maid is shaken awake just because the empress suddenly wakes from a dream and decides she wants a bowl of chicken soup. The cruelest duty of all belonged to the maids who had to keep vigil by the body of the dead. When someone of high rank died in the palace, they had to stay beside the body all night, in a cold, silent room. They couldn't sleep, they couldn't cry, they couldn't even show fear. All they could do was kneel in silence through an entire frozen night. Late at night, Xiao Hong and a few other maids finally returned to their narrow beds. But they don't dare fall into deep sleep, because at any moment, their mistress might call them again. That night, Xiao Hong dreams of her parents back home, and the river that flowed past their door. When she wakes, her pillow is damp with tears from a dream she can't remember. 10 years slip by in the blink of an eye. Her parents are likely gone, lost to famine in her hometown. And her real name, the one she was born with, has long been forgotten. And before the next dawn, Xiao Hong will rise again to live the same day, all over once more. So, was Xiao Hong destined to spend her whole life inside the Forbidden City? The answer is yes. For most palace maids, leaving the palace was almost impossible. Only a few, the lucky ones, were allowed to return home when they grew old. But by then, they no longer belonged to the world outside. Some still knelt when they spoke, even after leaving the palace. Some still woke up every morning at 4 o'clock, their bodies remembering what their minds wished to forget. For Xiao Hong and for thousands like her, the Forbidden City is more than a palace. It was a prison, a beautiful golden prison that stole away their youth and turned their lives into a nightmare they could never escape. When you look at the Forbidden City today, do you see its beauty or the stories hidden inside it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe for more stories from China's hidden past. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.